Yo, what's good everyone? This is Ayo Boxing with Madiba, and we're here to talk about why Tszyu should pursue a fight with Terence Crawford. So as we all know, Canelo Alvarez will be fighting Jermell Charlo on September 30th. They just did two back-to-back press conferences, and the intrigue of this fight is at an all-time high. Content surrounding Canelo and Charlo, along with Terence Crawford, have dominated the boxing media and news this week. But surprisingly, Tszyu's name has been pretty much absent in these talks surrounding the fight. Despite the fact that Charlo is going to be stripped of his 154 WBO title after the Canelo fight, Tszyu, who is Charlo's mandatory and the opponent he was supposed to defend his undisputed titles against earlier this year, is supposed to be elevated to full WBO champion status after September 30th, essentially making Tszyu an email champion, and this has to be frustrating for Tszyu. He has been Charlo's mandatory for a long time, and their fight was postponed multiple times. This has led Tszyu and the Australian fans to believe that Charlo is ducking him. I don't believe that's true, but based on how things are set up, Tszyu will most likely have to wait until the second half of 2024 to fight Charlo for undisputed. Due to this, Tszyu should pursue a fight with Terence Crawford now because Tszyu has leverage and also needs to legitimize himself as a champion. Crawford has made it very clear that he wants to move up to 154 and fight Jermell Charlo for undisputed. He said this before the Errol Spence fight, and he doubled down on it after the Spence fight. He was even calling out Charlo during the fight, and this is a fight that the fans want to see. But there's three obstacles in the way for Crawford: the Spence rematch, the result of Canelo vs Charlo, and Tszyu being elevated to championship status. The Spence rematch is a mandatory obligation. The majority of fans think that Crawford will beat Spence again. I think the same. This rematch will be beneficial for Crawford because he can get acclimated to 154, but it will also be time consuming since most people don't want to see the rematch. Charlo winning or losing to Canelo will have major implications on the divisions of 154 and 168. Charlo said that he would fight Crawford next, but that seems to be unsure now because Charlo has hinted to staying at 168 if he beats Canelo, and there's possibility that Canelo may want a rematch if Charlo wins. So if that happens, Charlo will not come back to 154 for a long time, or he just might stay at 168. But if Charlo loses, I guarantee you that he'll come back to 154, but as stated earlier, there's a chance that he won't fight until the later half of 2024, especially if Charlo takes a lot of damage against Canelo. But if Crawford wants to become undisputed at 154, he will need the WBO belt. Therefore, he or Charlo would have to fight Tszyu first. And this is where Tszyu's leverage comes into factor. Tszyu holds the key to become undisputed at that division. So once Crawford gets done with his rematch with Spence, he should pursue a fight with Crawford immediately. A Crawford fight will legitimize his claims as a true champion, but it also has the potential to be a mega fight with a big payday. Crawford is pound for pound number one, seen as the best boxer in the world, and is at the height of his career and popularity. Everybody in America knows who Crawford is now. Tszyu is currently the most popular Australian boxer with a good upside potential. Usually, when you bring two top boxers from different countries together, the fights tend to be more massive compared to a domestic one because you're bringing in two different countries with two different fan bases. That means more revenue from viewership, streaming, pay-per-view, and etc. Don't get it twisted, a Charlo fight will be massive as well, especially if he beats Canelo, but there are less variables with a Crawford fight, thus making it a safer option for Tszyu. And once again, I just believe that Crawford is the more popular boxer. If this fight ever does happen, I'm picking Crawford to beat Tszyu, no doubt. But if Tszyu were to beat Crawford, which I doubt, but if that does happen, this would do more for his career than a win over Charlo, since Crawford is seen as one of the best, and if not the best, of this era. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing with Madiba. Hit like, subscribe, and more content's coming your way.